Hello, everybody. This is the UWRF versus, who is it? Oklahoma, right? University of
University of
Nebraska.
Nebraska. Okay.
Um, and tonight we're going to be playing the first round of playoffs here?
This is the first round of.
Second round of
Oh,
playoffs.
second round of playoffs.
But I'm Vinny. I'm usually the Overwatch coach here at UWRF, and I'm joined by.
I'm Sair, also known as Pizza Boy. I'm the mid laner, the sub mid laner for the League of Legends team.
And we're getting right into draft here. And so UWRF has kind of opted for more of a Riven, I'm assuming top lane,
Yeah.
Ivern jungle, and Galio mid support flex. I'm not familiar. You'd be more familiar with what the team looks to play.
That would be a Galio mid.
Okay. And it seems like enemy has just gone for a Malphite to probably just mostly neutralize the lane. However, it seems like they banned the Sylas here.
Interesting choice as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And UWRF takes away the Malphite
Yeah. Interesting choice.
Yas combo.
The Sylas ban. We have been experimenting a bit with Sylas, but it's mostly been our jungler. Our mid laner hasn't really touched Sylas all that much.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that ban.
I insta pick Sylas into a Malphite top every game I see it. Like I have no mercy. Malphite players, if you blind pick into me, I will punish you.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're basically just trying to play around this Vayne.
Yeah.
Their jungle bot is the damage on enemy team, whereas top bot is going to be our carries.
It'll be interesting to see how this goes, as UWF has a very engagey comp with the Riven, Galio, and Rakan, and whereas like Nebraska has more of a.
Well, like, they have a bit of both.
They have
like,
a lot more all well-rounded damage, but the main issue I see here is, I think they're mainly playing for their ADC. UWF does know that their ADC is probably their most threatening player, especially on Vayne.
Yeah, I mean Vayne's going to be the main damage output in this game, clearly. However, like UWF doesn't really have any like super tanky characters. Like Galio doesn't necessarily have to build full tank. Riven obviously isn't going to build tank. Ivern's more of an enchanter. Like there's not really like a Malphite, an Aura, and a Scion that you're like really burning down with the Vayne. I mean Vayne has very good mobility and is like hard to like pin down in a fight, you know? I mean that's her largest strength. And like obviously you also have the Milio cleanse with ult, so it's like if she gets Rakan charmed or whatever, like she does have counterplay to it. Yeah. But it is a lot of, I would say, like eggs in one basket, right? Like if that Vayne gets picked off, you lose like all of your AD damage in your comp.
It is a lot of AP damage on the side of Nebraska here.
Yeah. And not to say that like UWRF also isn't slightly like AP heavy. I mean, they're less so. But
yeah, they do have
Malphite,
the Riven too.
Lilia, Lissandra, Milio is just all AP. There's not really a lot of AD on their side. So Vayne going down could be very like hard. And like Vayne, honestly, like I know the true damage passive isn't as strong as it once was. So she's more like armor is better against her than it used to be. But like you're not really like they're not really incentivizing any like UWRF could just build like MR and tenacity and be pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean they picked Galio here. We don't know if it's going to be a MR tank Galio or an AP Galio. So it'll be interesting to see how UWF plays this, especially since this enemy team is so AP heavy.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean that Vayne can turn tables very
like
really
I think
hard.
if I'm Riven here, and I'm not a Riven specialist, don't quote me on what I would build, but like I think Maw is looking pretty strong this game.
For sure, as like a 4th or 5th item.
Yeah, even just like an early Hex Drinker isn't even that bad. Like you get your Eclipse, you get your whatever you're going.
Yeah,
if you're doing your Black Cleaver, you're doing your
Cleaver, Sundered Sky,
Sojin or Sunder Sky, right? Like any of those options, and then like Maw. Like if you ever get ahead and you're just able to build Maw, like only person killing you on the enemy team is Vayne, and you can kind of one-shot her if you're Riven.
Especially with this team. I mean, Rakan can get in there really easily. Galio can ult onto the Rakan, and the Ivern is there just to start fights.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is, like, you can't cleanse Rakan knockup, so like, you can still definitely just die to that. can't cleanse.
Yeah, we got
Daisy knockup.
multiple knockups on this team. Ivern with Daisy, Galio with E and his alt, Rakan with his W, and Riven can also knock up. So it's a lot of uncleansable CC here.
Yeah. A decent number, yeah. I mean, you can obviously still cleanse Rakan Charm. You can cleanse Galio Taunt. You can cleanse Ivern Q. You can cleanse Riven W.
But at that point, I feel like it's too much to cleanse. That it's just not. There's no point in just cleansing it all, because the moment you're caught out by like more than one CC, you're just
I mean, if you're getting hit by those abilities, like, you're probably dead. I think the most relevant one is probably Rakan.
Yeah.
Rakan's Charm, his ult engage.
Well, but looks like we're gonna get right into the game.
Yep. Curious to see how this goes. I'm not exactly 100% familiar with how all of these laning phases are supposed to go. I don't really know how Lissandra Galio goes. I assume it's probably somewhat Galio favored after he hits like 3.
Yeah. Well, once he gets that passive magic resist shield, it'll be much easier for Galio. Yeah, but Lissandra can just poke from a distance, so it'll be a bit of a poke lane for both sides.
Yeah. So it looks like UWRF is looking maybe just to scout out this red buff here.
Wait.
Oh, and
Lilia's caught out by the root.
Here.
She gets knocked out by the Riven, and Riven gets first blood. That's not good for Nebraska at all.
Oof, I don't know what that Lilia was doing. She wasn't.
It looks like she was
did not react at all.
Yeah, it looks like she was AFK there.
I think she was. I think she walked up and was looking somewhere else on the map, or was thinking about something else. But like, you gotta have the game starts at 0 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, like, there is no. It doesn't start at 1 minute 30. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, good play on Arrow Hunter's part, getting the Q in to just keep her in place.
Yep, and they get the ward on Raptors, so they'll know. Malphite is forced there to ward red just because he doesn't want the invade to come out now. That Lily got picked early there, so
yeah, I mean, that's devastating in terms of, like, goal difference, but also Astral Flying has a kill. Astral Flying has had a tendency to just hard carry on Riven in these matches, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
I mean, it doesn't end the jungle matchup,
No,
obviously, because, like, again,
wait,
almost,
almost.
But that could be Ivern is gonna get out here, but he is gonna delay his own clear with doing that. Or, well, no, he isn't, because of how Ivern works.
Yeah, Ivern is, I think, a character you can try doing something like that with. Unfortunately for Arrow Hunter there, he doesn't really get the steal off.
No. And yeah, and the pick did happen early enough in the top lane, actually, for Riven to come back with an extra longsword buy before Malphite's able to, like, really stack that armor and make it harder. Yeah, so actually it's almost certainly going to be, like, it could even be a Black Cleaver first angle.
And it looks like Malphite getting starred for XP and gold here by the Riven.
No, I think the Malphite just hasn't been able to hit the wave yet. So he's got quite a big wave. Like, he'll catch up once the wave crashes. Looks like we're having an early mid skirmish here, but it is going the way of
Arrow Hunter and Last Caress do use their flashes.
Arrow Hunter is down a level here to the Lilia, so he's not really able to, like, super make that skirmish work. So he's gonna fall behind a little bit here. Flash used by both mid jungle here. The taunt coming out up into this, but he's not going to have the damage to actually finish this fight, and he might die here to Lissandra Q.
He lives, and he almost kills the Lissandra. Wait, Lilia gets caught out there.
Lilia's, that's going to be an Ivern death, but Lilia's going to fall here to Riven, probably.
Yeah, that will also be a Lilia death, unless UWRF just give it up.
It looks like it's just going to be up to Riven here. Lilia not really going to have the ability to run
and
here.
That's 2 kills for Riven already.
Yeah, Riven is a snowbally champ. Bot lane here, the wave state doesn't look like it's in a great spot, and they're forced to recall here. So probably getting traded out a little bit too aggressively here. Riven just double buffs here, is just going to run this Malphite down into tower, probably force the flash here.
Wait. And at the third kill for Riven.
Doesn't even matter. So Riven up 3-0 already.
That's
in the top lane.
Gonna be devastating for Nebraska to deal with later, as Riven, as Brady's Riven is devastating when he's ahead.
That's just kind of Riven though. Like
Yeah,
Riven has the mobility to force a fight on you at basically any state, any time she wants, and if she gets that far ahead of you, she can kind of just zone you off the wave and snowball her lead and just really make sure this Malphite never really gets to play the game. And like it's really through no fault of his own that this happened. Like
yeah.
early pick on Lilia. Lilia gets a
gets-
pick on the jungle, and then Riven's there to clean it up because of the earlier pick just having Prio in his lane, and then just it leads into a solo kill.
Air Hunter is
From the
top
double buffs.
side, though. He does, nothing seems to happen from it.
No, it seems like he's just going to be forced to leave this Lilia. He is behind a little bit in farm here. He does have his camps, his wolves up and like other things, but this Lilia doesn't seem interested in really letting him farm in peace here. But is Aaron trying to do Void Grubs here?
I think they are looking for it. Rakan is up there, so that does leave Fridgley alone in the bot lane. This is going to be a bit deadly.
Misses the W, but it's perfectly fine here. He just, the only unfortunate thing is his wave is bouncing away from him right now, and he doesn't have his support there. That is going to make this really, really hard for him. He's probably, if they're playing well, they're probably going to zone him off some of the experience. He's just going to be forced to sack this and kind of just, you know, take the L.
Yeah.
He really needed to make sure he wasn't shoving his wave before they roamed top here. I don't necessarily think that Rakan needed to stay top the entire time, but they do secure the Void Grubs nonetheless, which is going to help with pushing these plates later after this Riven probably shoves this Malphite out of lane again, because Malphite backed and just bought boots. He didn't get any extra armor here.
Yeah, and Riven has a pickaxe already, as well as a hammer.
Yeah. Curious to see what... I'm assuming this is Eclipse, just based off of the items picked here to start.
Riven going for a bit of damage on the turret.
Yeah. Chunking this Malphite, doing the classic Riven, just eat the tower shot with E. Baits Malphite W there, but just goes in. He has ult here, but he's going to get stunned up and die.
He gets knocked up under turret, and he almost kills Malphite with his ult, but it's not enough damage to kill Malphite there.
No. I think he got a little bit impatient there and felt like he needed to go, but he didn't quite respect the Malphite hitting the level up there, which is what led to him like being able to ult and just, you know, set up the CC under tower.
Eerie does get Lissandra ulted. That's a lot of CC on the side of Lissandra there. Does get him killed.
Yeah, getting Q slowed into rooted by Lissandra, and Lissandra ult is gonna ruin his day. However, again, he's still up 10 CS in the mid lane, so it's not the end of the world. The Lissandra didn't actually get the kill, just the assist. So they're probably relatively close, even in gold here. It really isn't the end-all, be-all of this game. I'm curious, what team do you actually put the scaling advantage on in this game?
In terms of scaling, on side of UWRF, I believe the Riven and Kaisa can scale very, very well. Depending on the Galio build, Galio can also scale very well. However, on the side of Nebraska, they do have the Vayne, Lilia, Lissandra. All three champs late game are very devastating, especially if Vayne can get those attack speed items as early as possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting things here. I just think that like Riven's finding out what happens when Malphite gets steel plate caps, right? Like, you just don't really do damage anymore, and Malphite just kind of outtrades you because you just don't have the resistances. Like, armor is extremely, extremely strong early, and when you're kind of just like early, you do a lot of damage to your auto attacks in the trades. Looks like they're aiming to gank this Malphite on the bounce here, but
Air Hunter does miss the Q, unfortunately.
I think they should just opt for setting up a freeze here on this Malphite. I don't think there's anything to be forced here. I think Aaron is just kind of potentially just taxing the wave at this point. Just force Malphite to come fight you on your side of the lane. If he wants to, you know, if he wants to continue to CS, make him walk up, right?
We do see Air Hunter coming back up
Gank
here.
is here, but Lilia is also top here.
Lilia is taking a lot of damage from Daisy and Ivern autos from bushes.
Yeah. Riven trying to rotate over, but it is Lilia. It's going to be very hard to ever catch her. She does kind of just leave if she doesn't feel like being there. Lilia ult used on Ivern there,
She
she won't have that now.
Yeah, she also doesn't get the sleep hit as well. So a bit of a burn on Lilia ult.
UWRF bot lane here, trying to just kind of hang on and collect the wave under tower while Rakan's trying to make a play mid lane here with the jungler and Air Hunter. They do CC her, so she doesn't get her E off. She's forced to ult here to try and live. Flash burned, and she will get away. But that is a lot of her playmaking ability now gone for the next 5 minutes here.
Yeah, Lysandra having to use just about everything to get out there.
And that is going to lead to UWRF stacking 6 grubs here. Just because they do have Prio in the top lane. They just forced Lysandra to base here. Lilia could look for a steal, but it would be relatively suicidal to go for it. And so she just opts to just concede the 6 Void Grubs. They've only managed to stack 1 Drake for those 6 Void Grubs, so they didn't really trade any Drakes in response to that, which I think they could have easily done given how much Prio UWRF is giving up in the bot wave. But Lilia was not looking for an early Drake, and so they're just going to only be able to get away with the Cloud so far. Sire, what's your opinion on Rift now in season 13?
Rift Herald is actually a pretty good objective to take. Unfortunately, Rift Herald isn't that easy to take this season as last season.
Yeah, because it has the Baron passive where it doesn't take as much damage if there's only one of you.
Yeah. So, I mean, Rift Herald is good in some certain scenarios, but Rift Herald is easily an objective a team doesn't really need to take.
So Riven getting a plate here just thanks to the Void Grub passive. Aaron Hunter, Ravenhood getting chased down by this Vayne. Is he going to get caught off here, out here? No, he's able to go in, and he will get out. Burns the, what's that?
That was a battle song from Erie there. He did buy battle song on Galio.
Yes, I was going to say that looked like Shrelia's. I was confused. I was like, Rakan doesn't have Shrelia's yet. No, I guess the Galio opted in for it, probably just to help him land his taunts here. Huge W coming out from Riven here.
We do see a team fight going on. Vayne goes down. Milio's going to go down as well. Milio goes down to the Kaisa, and that seems like a free dragon for UWRF there.
Yeah, awesome. Perfect flank coming out from the top lane here from UWRF. Just came in, flash W, Q3'd, and that was the fight there. Just they didn't have vision control coming from the bot side there, and that just kind of allowed the Riven to just kind of sneak up from behind them in River and just pull the trigger.
Unfortunate for Nebraska, they're not expecting the Riven to come from behind. Malphite also not having TP to counter TP the Riven there.
I mean, it happened so fast. I don't think he realistically could have in time, right? That engage was just so quick. Riven pushed him in, backed, and then it was just he didn't know that Riven wasn't coming top to lane again. Riven was actually headed down. It looks like in mid lane here, Galio was getting aggressed on, but he avoids the gank here. Malphite gonna ult in. I don't think he has the damage to actually get this kill here. Riven is just gonna be able to walk away, and the Eclipse passive as well is just gonna be very strong. Q3, he's just gonna have to take a back, and that's that, right?
Unfortunate, Malphite having to use his ult there.
Yeah. Malphite uses his ult, doesn't get Riven Flash or really anything from it. Just going to be able to maybe shove a plate here, which isn't bad. He gets a plate, gets a recall, but is that really what you want to be doing on Malphite? I don't think so. Malphite isn't like the most gold, like snowball-y champ ever. Like,
especially if he's building a full tank Malphite here.
Yeah, which is the correct play. You shouldn't building AP Malphite is an ARAM only. Troll like draft pick maybe if you're feeling funny, but like AP Malphite just really isn't that effective. But it looks like I would say right now I'm in favor of UWRF. They're up about 900 gold, 1,000 gold here. as well as being up those two the void grubs, and even in Drakes. So I'd say so far this game seems to be firmly in UWRF's control. It's still definitely it could still definitely go either way, right? We still haven't seen this late game Vayne.
Yeah.
She's been farming up in the bot lane and has like a pretty decent CS lead here.
Oh, we do see Lilia getting caught up by the Galio W there.
Lysandra going to also be able to get out. Is Lilia getting out here is the question.
She does get ignited.
It looks like she's going to go down to the
Aaron
auto
there.
from Aaron, yeah. Which is not good because I think that probably means another Rift objective here as well as mid tower.
Indeed. Rift, not Rift. Mid tower does go down for the side of UWRF.
Yeah, UWRF is just really proving to be a lot more active on the map than Nebraska is here. You know, the bot lane hasn't moved really for any objectives other than that one Drake fight.
It seems like we've gone into a game pause.
It looks like that to me. Interestingly, but so far I still want to continue my point here, which was like UWRF has been kind of running circles around them on the map,
Yeah.
right? They've sent their support up to the Void Grubs both times. The Riven has now come to like multiple fights, right? Killing the jungler multiple times, catching them out in river. Just was a part of that mid fight pretty much. Well, meanwhile, like bot and top on the side of Nebraska have been relatively stagnant. They haven't really moved to any of the fights that UWRF is like catching out the jungle and mid in, and it's really starting to show, right? Like I think UWRF is kind of on the brink of starting to crack this game open.
Yeah, I mean like you said, like we haven't really seen Vayne outside of laning phase yet, so it'll be interesting to see what she can do once she's out of laning phase. However, she hasn't really been able to get much like in terms of a lead in the bot lane, even though it has been mostly just frigidly in the bot lane, just farming under turret.
Yeah. Oh. Seems we are experiencing a few technical difficulties with the spectator. Thank you, Riot. Always appreciated. But we'll try to be getting back in as soon as we can. But yeah, if Nebraska doesn't do something soon to get on the map or start taking some fights and have their Vayne pop off, I think this game is going to snowball out of control pretty quickly.
Yeah, especially since the Riven has already slightly snowballed here.
Yeah, I mean, Riven got what she wanted, right? A snowbally champion got to get a bunch of early picks and then got to just kind of shove in the lanes. Got both top objectives and then got to take a couple plates with them, and then that transitioned into mid tower falling because of all of that additional pressure that they've been moving towards the mid lane, right? Ganking Lysandra, fighting Lilia, and just like kind of making it so Lysandra just needs to give up her tower. And, you know, tier 1 mid lane tower is kind of important, right? If you want to have defense in your jungle, because it makes it so much harder for you to take your Raptors safely. It makes it so much harder for you to take your blue and, you know, all those things. You can't just run to mid lane anymore to be safe.
Yeah.
It makes it significantly more difficult for you.
It seems like
something
is going
happened
on in terms of with the spectator lobby.
Yeah, well, hell, by the time we get back in here, this game could be in a very different state. Obviously, we're biased, and we're hoping that UWRF has snowballed the game even more, and that we'll be looking at, going into Game 2 here. But I don't think that's probably what's happened. It's probably just going to be another, like, a continuation of this slow, like, resource accumulation and extending their lead that they've been doing throughout the whole early game here. But who knows, right? League is a dynamic game, and who knows what could happen, right? Vayne could pop off and get a quadra kill at the next dragon fight, and all of a sudden you're sitting there going, "Oh crap, oh crap!" There's a Fed Vayne, right? Like we've all been probably at one point in our league careers destroyed by a Vayne player that seemingly has scripts and just doesn't get hit by any CC ability and is invisible for half of the fight, and you're like, "What do I do?"
Yeah, that is a very relatable moment for, I believe, myself and I believe many other league players.
Recently though, that demon was Smolder. I hated that champ in my games. Like, you're playing the game, and you're like, well, if we don't win by 30 minutes, like, we're going to lose.
Yeah, Smolder was an interesting champ design choice on the side of Riot.
He certainly was.
Ri-
That was a thing that
Riot,
happened.
during the time when they were teasing Smolder, said he was supposed to be a traditional traditional ADC, but
Looks like we're going to rely on a Discord stream here.
yeah.
Such as life, but scuffed, but whatever. No, but it's
No.
fine. We don't need the volume here. UWRF forcing a fight. It looks like in the time we were gone, they've captured all of the tier 1 and 2 towers here.
Yeah,
and are
I
looking
mean,
to contest base here.
it looks like they're gonna go to Baron
Yep,
now.
pinging on Baron coming out here. And so it's likely to be like all 5 members are up on both sides of teams here. Nebraska is certainly almost going to know that this Baron take is happening. And UWRF will probably look for a turn, I assume.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, you don't really need to be looking for a flip, right? They have vision. They catch the Lilia out here. And Rakan just going to like be zoning them out. And it looks like this Lilia is just going to opt to just run away here. They have no vision because of the control word on Baron. And that's just going to be a free
does
Baron.
get that Baron. That is going to be very
Yep. And now they're going to look
deadly.
for Drake here. They're going to look to get their second Drake, deny soul point for Nebraska here.
Yeah.
But it looks like Nebraska has rotated over and set up vision as well. So this is going to be a little bit more tricky than the Baron that they just took. But UWRF, it appears to just be in a much stronger position in this game.
And Lilia goes down to the Galio.
Yep. And UWRF is kind of just slapping them with their wallets at this point, it looks like.
Rakan getting as many charms in as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem like the Kaisa and Rakan are on the Vayne. This is a good play on UWRF's part.
Yeah, this fight has seemingly kind of split up here. Lysandra going down, but Vayne ghosted. You're just never catching her.
Yeah, but Vayne at this point is gone. I have no idea why this Galio is still
They
chasing
could be
her here.
looking for an end potentially.
Oh wait, Vayne
No, he's
Vayne messes up,
He's gonna look for the kill here.
and Vayne goes down.
Yep. And that looks like this could be a potential end, I think. Or well, yeah, it looks like UWRF is just gonna opt to just take the inhib tower and then just go back, get their Mountain Drake, and probably just recall and spend some of the gold they've accumulated since they've taken Baron here, right? They didn't actually recall after Baron. They just went straight Drake to take that fight, which they also won. Or well, they won.
I mean, they got 3 kills off of it. I'd consider it a win out for UWRF.
Yeah. I was saying there wasn't really a fight at Baron.
Yeah.
So 2-2 Dragons, 21-7 the score here. So UWRF significantly in the lead, and just with the towers they've taken, it looks like Nebraska has only been able to take top tier 1. So they're just gonna feel a lot of like pressure on the map here, where they're just not really able to push up and punish UWRF when they retreat into their jungle, versus like they don't really have a safe place to play on the map anymore. Lilia's going to struggle to get her camps at this stage in the game, right, with UWRF being so strong. And so it's just going to be a slow choke out of resources here, where UWRF is just going to push in these 3 lanes with their Baron, and then they're just going to be looking to take more inhib towers, right?
Yeah.
So Galio rotating mid here after pushing top. It looks like there's going to be a fight breaking out in the bot lane here.
Lilia does
get
die.
caught out again. She was probably trying to farm her jungle. Like
Yeah.
I said, it's just not really feasible to do anymore at this stage in the game when you've lost all of your tier 2s, and your team is so far behind. You just don't have the ability to take a fight in your own jungle, and you just kind of have to seed all of your camps.
We do also see Galio running the Kanik Rokern, which is going to not be great for Nebraska here.
No. Mid inhib falls. It looks like top inhib will be falling shortly after here. And yeah, UWRF looking at like they're poised to even just end the game here. But we'll see how what they want to do.
Their Baron buff does run out.
Yeah, Baron buff does go down here. If I'm them, I'm probably just rotating bot here, which is seemingly the play that's being called. You have double inhib, right? Not every on Nebraska can really contest your inhib push here, and you can kind of just slap them again with your wallet lead. Kind of just force in, and we'll see.
It does seem like UWF is going for a Nexus siege here, taking out all 3 inhibs.
Yeah, so this is looking like they're just gonna walk in here, wait maybe on their. I mean, they could have waited a little bit more on their inhib waves, their super minion waves here, but they're still getting like some damage out on onto
Kaisa
Nebraska.
W is doing a lot of damage here.
Yeah,
to them.
is Kaisa built AP? She almost has to be,
Kaisa
yeah.
has built AP.
Okay. So Kaisa has built AP here and is just poking, and there's not really much to do against this, and that's going to be a double kill coming out from the Kaisa.
Kaisa W just
Galio
does too much damage.
Flash comes out. It looks like Vayne might be able to kill the Riven here. No,
No,
just gonna
Vayne
get one
dies.
shots. Yeah, just going to get absolutely turbo one shot by the Riven, who's just incredibly fed at this point in the game.
UWRF does
And
seem
UWRF is just going to take this map
They
pretty easily here.
Kaisa goes, not Kaisa, Lysandra goes down to the Kaisa.
Yeah.
And it does seem like Lilia's trying her best to defend the Nexus, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
UWRF takes game 1 of the series.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see how they transitioned from mid to end game there.
Yeah, unfortunate.
But about what we kind of predicted was going
Yeah.
to happen was like slowly it's like your lead starts to slip away and then you just start to snowball the game because it's like, oh, we can't fight here. We can't fight here. We have to give this here. They're taking this here. And then it's like slowly you just build your lead until it's like, oh, the enemy team can't play the game anymore.
I think it just took too long for that Vayne to really engage in team fights, and I think that's really what messed
and
up
she
that
wasn't,
team there.
and the Riven also was just like ahead enough that we saw like at the end there, it's like Riven just one-shot her.
Yeah.
There really wasn't anything that the Vayne could do to outplay that that at the end there, and so it's just like it's what do you do at that point, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just have to play the early game better and not get snowballed that hard.
Not get first blooded by the Riven there.
Have your hands on your keyboard
Yeah.
at level 1 is a good suggestion.
All right. Looks like we'll be going into a little break as we get game 2.
Yeah, we'll probably be going into
sorted
draft
out.
for game 2 pretty shortly here, and then we'll see what we end up seeing this second game around. I would expect potentially, I don't know what Nebraska has identified as maybe problematic.
Yeah,
right?
maybe the Riven.
Yeah, but I also could see them saying like the Riven wasn't the problem. The problem was that we gave the Riven like 3 kills within the first like 5 minutes, and maybe that was the problem. You know,
Yeah.
maybe we didn't have enough activity on the map, right? Where we're just seeding all of these objectives. Like, hey, they're playing for Void Grubs very obviously. Why don't we just take an early Drake, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll identify that. Maybe they'll set up a dive on bot lane. Like, we never saw Lilia try to look for a dive.
Yeah, especially since like
when
that Kaisa was all alone down there for so much of the game.
Like we never saw a dive setup come, and so like Kaisa went down and farm for sure, but like she never died. Didn't lose any, like she was actually up in XP because Ravenhood was roaming, and so it was like it just was kind of it wasn't she wasn't really punished appropriately for the plays that UWRF was making, and so UWRF kind of just like said, okay, you're not going to punish us for it. Well, we're just going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep taking all the objectives on the map, and well, until you do something, well, what are you like? You know, we'll just make plays elsewhere, and if you're not going to make plays and you're not going to cross map us, then so be it. So I think they do have a lot they could examine here this game. Really look at. What would you, if you were the coach for Nebraska, what would you be thinking?
I mean, just overall, that first blood wasn't necessary to give, and another thing, like, put a lot more pressure on lanes that, like you said, like cross mapping. If the jungler in support or top side put some pressure on that bot side, especially if Kaisa's alone and the wave is being pushed in towards the Kaisa.
Yeah, and I also could see drafting like 2 carries instead of kind of drafting like 1.5, or you know, like, and maybe not so much AP. Maybe have a little bit better split of damage. Maybe like, because I feel like AP, if anything, is like the type of damage you want. Like, if you want to have a solo AP, that's fine. Solo AD is a little bit more
risky. It's very much risky.
Right? Like, it typically is a bit harder because MR items are very strong in this game, whereas like the armor items, not as much for a lot of characters, right? Like, if you're playing, I don't know, like top lane and you're playing Riven, you kind of have like Death's Dance and like GA if you want to build armor and AD, right? Unless you want to like dedicate a slot to like a full tank item, which Riven usually doesn't want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like you have Maw, right?
Yeah.
You have like, I mean like Maw is obviously basically the only one you never need. You have Maw, and then like if you're playing ADC, it's like you can go the Wit's End. Yeah, Wit's End. You can go Mercurial Scimitar if you really want it to, right? Like, you have more options for MR items if you really like need it, versus like, I feel like Bruiser armor items are not really that common.
Yeah.
Besides Death Stance, and like I don't know about you, I haven't seen a lot of Death Stance built this season.
No, not really. This season, Death Stance has been a bit on the downturn. All right.
All right. Well, we'll be heading to break. We'll see you soon after the draft is finalized.
Yes.
Hello and welcome back to Game 2. UWRF is currently up a game. They did win pretty decisively, and yeah, there's the Riven ban.
Yep, there's the Riven ban. They don't want that Riven to snowball a
If
bit.
you missed Game 1, Riven had 3 kills in 5 minutes, and the game was pretty hard for them from there, so they have banned away the Riven. And
UWRF does ban the Kaisa.
Yep, they banned the Kaisa. Zeri banned like last game.
Yeah, it seems like they don't want to go against that Zeri. We do
Yep.
ban UWRF does ban the
So
Felio,
UWRF is target banning the enemy team's ADC. There's the Ivern. That was another pretty strong champ.
and there's 3 ADC bans
Yeah,
for
so
UWRF.
4 hyper carry ADCs banned away. Ornn first picked here.
Ornn top.
I think that is relatively bold as a first pick. Well, actually, this isn't the first pick,
Yeah,
but there's the
we
Camille.
do see the
just
Camille
an
and the
absolute-
Bel'Veth.
An absolutely gross champ this patch. Camille does entirely way too much damage, and I don't know. Camille is pretty gross this patch. I think she's getting nerfed next patch.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I might need to
for
get
the
corrected
time
on that.
being, we will. UWRF is more than happy to abuse that into an Ornn matchup.
We do also see the Bel'Veth pick. This is an iconic pick for Arrow Hunter here.
Yep. So Nocturne, Ornn, Cassiopeia. Quite a few team fight ults coming out here.
We do have Nocturne ult to initiate.
The reason these bans don't make sense is because they ban like the picks didn't happen in this order. They're
for
not
those-
just banning away the.
Yeah, for those tuning in, we do pick and ban in a different client, and then we pick and ban here in order. So it's a bit weird in terms of the way the bans look, but don't worry, all planned out. We do see Varus on the side of UWRF here, and we do see that Xayah and Melio again. Melio was a questionable pick last match, as they really did need a bit more engage other than the Malphite last match.
So
but
this is gonna be the Karma mid into the
Yeah.
Cassiopeia. I know Karma has been very, very strong ever since people figured out that going Malignance on her first was kind of busted.
Malignance Karma was not fun for the good while that it was disgusting.
I mean, it's still good.
It's still good.
It's
but
not what it was. Yeah.
It's definitely not what it was a couple months ago, though.
Agreed. But pretty strong, like damage-heavy comp coming out from UWRF. It is looking kind of like they're going to be playing around the Camille, Varus, Rakan engage here. Like,
Yeah,
it very much feels like a pick burst comp.
yeah. Camille Bel'Veth could try to go looking for just singling out a target, picking them off.
Yeah.
Karma might be there to just do poke damage in the back. Varus as well, depending on hit or lethality build, will just either poke from the back with lethality or just shred the Ornn from the front.
This feels kind of almost like in my opinion, this is like UWRF kind of almost wants to be like side laning here.
Yes.
Like they kind of want to be playing like a 1-3-1, like put Varus in the center, just like hold down waves and then send like I don't know like Karma side and just kind of farm a clear wave and let Camille push and like take towers. Like that's kind of how I would play this draft. But I understand like you don't necessarily have to do that if you get a lead early. It just to me looks like it's a very like hard team comp to like fight 5v5 against. Like you have Ornn ult to deal with. If you try to engage on Cassio, she just like ults you in Camille thing and you die. Like you can't really super hard go on Xayah with Melio because like you get cleansed, she can R, right? There's a lot. It's hard to lock her down, and like in the middle of the team 5v5, and then all of a sudden your lights go out because Nocturne turned the power off.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, what's happening? Like it's less of a problem in like competitive like 5v5 everybody in comms games where it's like Nocturne ult. You have more information of what's going on than you do in like a traditional solo queue game where your teammates aren't going to type to you in the middle of Nocturne ult to be like, it's me guys, it's going on me. Like
Nocturnal in solo queue, devastating. In a team,
not as much. For sure.
in a team situation where everyone's on a mic, it's not as effective.
It's still good though.
Yeah, it's still a good ult. It's just
Still
not
good.
as effective as it is in a solo queue match.
You don't have the full information you normally have.
Yeah.
But overall though, yeah, I mean, UWRF wants to get a lead with this comp, right? Like,
Yeah, especially with that Belveth Camille there.
yeah, they have a very strong like top side. Like, if they get a lead, it's gonna be really hard for enemy team to play the game. But if they do like fall behind, Camille's gonna take a while to scale up. Belveth just isn't. If Belveth falls behind, she'll just like kind of not be effective in the game. Like, that's just kind of the nature of a feast or famine champ. Karma is just, she'll be strong early, like early first item spike, and then kind of taper off in the game. Like Varus is just kind of like average throughout the entire game. Doesn't really ever, and Rakan's is kind of broken in terms of his engage.
Yeah,
It's just
Rakan
a little
engage
bit
is
unplayable, or like
really good.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like counterplay to that. I mean, Milio kind of, but that's really it.
Yeah, I mean, Milio can't cleanse knockups, unfortunately.
I do almost. I think I would say the scaling is on the side of Nebraska this game. Like,
yeah, that Cassiopeia and
Cassiopeia plus
Ornn.
Ornn is just, it's strong. It's
Yeah.
strong late game.
Well, but we'll see how UWRF handles this.
Yep, they didn't make the mistake of drafting too little damage this game, but Ornn is definitely gonna have a rough lane.
Yeah.
100%, and a rough, like, he's not gonna be able to match Camille on the side late game.
It seems like we're going through another technical difficulty with the Riot client.
Thankfully, the Riot client, beautiful as always, decided that we aren't watching this game today. So, I guess back to
to our
Discord stream
backup
here.
strategy.
Yep.
We joined the game with UWRF being up 1 kill.
No idea what exactly transpired there, but
Unfortunately.
this Karma and Cassio are trading pretty hard here in the mid lane. But Karma seems to kind of have control of the lane at the moment.
Yeah. We do see a lot of just like Karma shoving wave. It does seem like Karma's gonna go down.
She's gonna ward Raptors
Yeah,
here.
ward Raptors.
Camille
does get picked off by the Nocturne
there's
Ornn.
a Nocturne Ornn, but it looks like Ornn actually just soloed Camille there. There was no assist from Nocturne there. I mean, maybe Camille was forced to just like run away and just died trying to run, but yeah, Nocturne not getting an assist there. Curious to see if maybe Nocturne's hovering mid right now. Unfortunately, we don't have full spec here, so we can only guess. But Nocturne is either taking crabs and recalling here, or he was hovering mid. So, most likely just a recall in the bot, I would assume.
The very
looks
even
like
trades
fight
from mid lane.
fight is happening top lane here. Camille might actually die again.
And Camille goes down once
Camille
again.
solo killed again. It looks like potentially the top lane is trying to force some engagements here a little too much, because I was noticing on the minimap that fight was happening on Camille's side of the lane. So that tells me that maybe he thought, oh, I came back, I got to like buy, this Ornn still hasn't, but Ornn doesn't really have to back to buy.
Yeah,
so I don't know if
Ornn
Cassio
passes.
running out of mana here though is gonna have to back. Karma's still like full resources. I think I'd be punishing that Cassio harder there. I would shove one more wave if I was mid lane here. Like, you're still pretty high mana. Like, you can pop a pot here if you need, and like you could really make Cassio lose some minions, or at least force TP here. Because like now you're the one. Oh, I guess the idea here is he wants to rotate for Void Grubs, but like you still have like Cassio so on the ropes here. Like,
Cassio doesn't want to back here.
no, she's definitely backing now.
Okay, now she's backing.
Nocturne coming in now on like alone here, gonna just go for a chunk, but like he is down a level here comparatively to this, and probably hasn't bought as much as this Karma has. Remember, this Karma just came off of her buy. So it looks like Belveth is gonna do what she likes to do, which is take objectives.
Yeah.
And so Void Grubs once again going over to UWRF. Just kind of like what we saw last game, where UWRF has been putting really high prio on those grubs and making sure that they're getting them. So despite Camille dying twice to Ornn, they did have shove in the mid lane, and Nocturne did just grant them that really bad trade. So they probably felt pretty comfortable taking that. Yeah, I mean, this game seems relatively stable at the moment.
Yeah, it does seem like UWRF is going for the dragon now. The enemy, Nebraska not cross mapping.
Yeah,
like we
Nebraska
mentioned
not
earlier.
really. Yeah, Nebraska not really having too much activity on these objectives. Um, just not really ever seeming to want to move as a team to them. Uh, just more content to just sit in lane and get their farm, which, you know, sure,
Yeah.
but you have to make a play. You have to make a play at some point, and maybe they're thinking, well, they're stronger than us early game, and our Ornn can't really like come down for this objective without sacrificing a bunch, so we're just gonna let him farm up, get him levels so he can upgrade our items sooner. Like, I think you can sack like objectives earlier, but like I don't think you ever want to give up Void Grubs, all 3 Void Grubs as well as Drake. I don't think
Especially
that's
since you have a Belveth on the other enemy team.
yeah, especially. Like, at least try to stake like 1 Void Grub,
Yeah.
Because normally, like, I know it's like hard because the support's been rotating up, but like maybe rotate your
Yeah.
Milio
Yeah. It's like
because that's gonna happen. Rotate your Milio and then like just go up and smite a grub away, right? Like you can only smite 1 of the grubs, so it's usually pretty easy for a jungler to just do 1 grub and leave if they need.
we do see Eerie getting a bit of vision in the top river though.
Yeah, I mean this Karma is just so strong early at shoving out these lanes, right? And this like these early trades are just like absolutely like devastating for Cassio. Karma just RQs you, Mantra Qs you, and you're just like,
Yeah.
where'd my health go?
We do see Xayah get a kill in the bot lane though.
Yeah. Xayah getting a kill onto Varus here, but not able to get the support as well. He's going to actually make it out with just a little bit of HP, but that does mean that Varus is going to have to drop this wave, and they might be able to get some plates onto their Xayah.
Mid lane once again getting shoved in.
Nocturne looking like he might be either going for an invade in bot lane or trying to catch this Varus on his way back to tower here. Kind of curious to see. It looks like Varus is just going to wait for Rakan to come back before he enters bot lane, but that just means he's going to lose even more XP than he already did. So pretty good pressure there in bot. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that like last game. I think that could have really helped them potentially even have like a chance in the game. It looks like this matchup in the top lane, despite Ornn getting 2 kills early, it's probably just too Camille favored.
Yeah.
They are both low. It looks like it's another fight here. Camille have to flash away. Ornn ult does hit her, but Karma E is going to save her.
Karma's there to save the Camille.
I think Karma might finish this. Yep.
And Karma
Q is going to roam the Karma roam off of all that prio that she had been generating earlier is going to be able to do this. And it looks like they're going to actually try and collapse on Nocturne here. Nocturne just going to probably face check this.
Nocturne not expecting a thing from the Belveth there.
And yeah, Mantra Q.
And he does die giving Belveth ult for him. This isn't good. Void Grubs are coming up right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Karma is just going to recall for her Malignance and walk back. Is this bot lane?
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing
okay.
a lane swap.
An early lane swap here. It looks like they're going to secure the Void Grubs here, lane swap the ADC mid, get those 6 Void Grubs, get that passive, and just probably push turrets pretty hard for the last 4 minutes here while plates are still up.
Yep, and this is another 6 grub games for UWRF here.
Oh, it looks like they're actually opting to swap back. Varus is actually going to be running to collect that wave. I don't think I necessarily agree. I think Varus should have just stayed mid and just got this wave, and then maybe they swap after they collect the waves here. But
UWRF does have the enhanced Belveth ult, though. Belveth collecting a void objective.
Yeah, Belveth doing what she does best, which is push towers and snowball the game.
We do see a Nocturne out coming through. We do not know for who, though. It looks like it was...
Don't walk into tower range there, dog. Yeah.
It looks like Nocturne did not...
Go on anyone.
Yeah, go on anyone.
Maybe he thought he saw an angle, and then maybe he found more vision and was like, oh, wait, that's not 1 person, that's 3. I shouldn't do that. Ward coming out onto Raptors again just to track this Nocturne, but if Nocturne doesn't have his ult, his gank threat is just not that
Nocturne
significant.
does rely on his ult a lot in order to gank lanes.
Yeah, like if you don't have that, Nocturne doesn't really have any super good ways unless the laner can set up for him to really get on anybody.
We do see Orin coming down for the drag fight,
Mhm.
it seems.
Yeah, so it looks like this is going to be Camille is probably just going to push top. UWF could definitely just give drag here and just get top plates and
Air Hunter seems to be going in on the Nocturne here. Unfortunately, we aren't able to see it directly, but we do see it on the minimap.
mhm.
Air Hunter getting
Gonna
a
get
kill on.
gonna get the reset here, but goes down to the
Goes
Zaya.
down to the
Zaya gets a
Zaya.
double kill here, and it looks like UWF is just gonna be forced to run away. Arn, it looks like he in the meantime either TP'd back top, I wasn't able to check, or just ran there and stopped Camille from just taking his entire tower there.
Cassiopeia does ult to Karma. Cassiopeia looks like
Conqueror
it's going for a
stacked
kill.
here, but not gonna be able to fall this down. Karma is gonna have RW here.
Karma
And
does get the
gets
kill on Cassiopeia there.
Yep. RW works because guess what? Malignance procs off of it.
Yeah.
So our Karma just proving again, like, yeah, she's pretty much a one item spike monster.
Yeah.
And will continue to fall off probably the rest of the game here. But because of the snowball, it looks like he's gonna opt into the Sork Pen boots over the Ionian boots, going less of a less of an enchanter build and more of just a hardcore damage.
We do see
here.
UWRF using a lot of resources to try to take down this Zaya here. Varsalt was
Yeah.
burned, but unfortunately it doesn't connect with the Zaya there.
Yeah, Zaya actually, I just checked. Zaya has 3 kills as well as her Kraken Slayer, so significantly stronger this game than she was on Vayne last game.
Yeah.
Um,
Looks like Nocturne did try to ult onto Arrow Hunter there. Fortunately for Arrow Hunter, Eerie was there to protect him a bit.
Yeah, it is a lot harder to cast this game with
with only
mid lane,
one
right?
perspective, unfortunately.
But it looks like Belveth looking for a gank here on bot lane. We'll have to see if that's successful here. It looks like it is going to be Varus going down.
But Zaya
however,
does go down as well,
Zaya goes down.
giving Belveth a shutdown and
Yep.
and an ult reset.
The Rakan charm coming out here on both the bot laners. I think it's going to be, it's going to be wraps for the bot lane
At the
here.
double kill for Arrow Hunter. Arrow Hunter is 4-1 now,
Mhm.
as we discussed earlier. Arrow Hunter loves scaling on this Belveth here.
He's getting his, he is definitely getting his, is that a custom skin?
No, that is indeed a new skin.
What is that?
That is the latest April Fool's skin. It's Train Conductor Orn.
Oh, that was a custom skin for a while. So
I believe you're thinking about Trucker Orn, which
my bad.
was a champ so many people requested, but I mean Train Conductor Orn was another skin a lot of people wanted. So I mean they both fulfill the same fantasy.
Yep. So just Cassiopeia just getting a quick chunk down to half health here from Varus Karma.
It does seem like Arrow Hunter is going for the Rift Herald here, trying to get another enhanced ultimate here.
UWF just kind of sacking the bot lane here. They're just like, whatever, Zaya, take that. We're just gonna play around our fed jungler here. And honestly, Karma is very, very strong this game. But I would say overall, this is definitely more of a game than last game.
This is very much more even than we did see last time.
The game, by the time we did get into this game, though, there was 1 kill, so I'd be curious to know how that happened. Hopefully not.
I would have liked to see if that was another first blood early, like 1 minute.
And this is looking like it's going to be another just
Melio
huge
almost
damage.
dies there.
Yep.
Does escape with a sliver of his HP.
Huge tower damage. They managed to get tier 1 mid as well as over half of tier 2 mid. So that's going to, again, like, remember what happened last game. They got that tier 1 tower early, and then they were able to start really pressuring the jungle and going for these picks in the jungle onto their jungler and really start choking them out of the game.
It looks like UWRF has opted to lane swap mid and bot lane.
Yep, so they've opted to move their squishier bot lane right into a safer role in mid. They still have like a pretty much a full health mid first tier 1. So Karma pretty hard to run down on the side lane, right? You have your E, you have your W if somebody's trying to chase you. Like you're not necessarily the easiest kill ever, and you can kind of just clear waves with your mantra Q from pretty far away. So overall, like, yeah, she doesn't have her tower here, but she's pretty hard to punish. Granted, a Nocturne ult could do it.
Yeah, but would I don't know if Nebraska would use a Nocturne ult to just take out the Karma here though.
I believe she has a shutdown.
Uh,
If not, I believe she has probably like a 150 gold shutdown. So it wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world, but yeah. But it looks like actually they're just swapping their lanes back again.
Interesting choice on the side of UWF here.
Yeah.
And we do see a kill on
Gank
Orin at
comes
the
out
top
lane, and well, Arrow Hunter is snowballing the game. Like this Bel'Veth is gonna be a massive problem.
Yeah,
into the mid game here.
Like I mentioned earlier during draft phase, like Arrow Hunter thrives off of getting Bel'Veth in these games. So
Nocturnal coming out, I didn't see where it looked like it was coming out bot lane,
Yeah.
but they weren't able to get any picks here, at least not yet. There looks like there's one person on the Zaya actually on the thing, but meanwhile, it looks like they're just running it into the
it looks like Arrow Hunter and Astro Flying are just running down the Nexus.
Yep, and it also looks like they're gonna be taking
Inhibitor
mid tier 2 as well. I don't know if I'm a fan of taking inhib this early. It does just let you. It just kind of gives you a lane of free farm for a while, and like unless like UWRF is like intending to like end the game soonish, I don't know if I would necessarily, because they didn't take the one that allows you Baron. They did take the one that gives you much freer Dragon. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it is 10:21 p.m. I wouldn't blame UWR for trying to end this game a bit earlier.
It looks like though they're gonna secure the objective bounty, which does mean that UWF is at a significant advantage this game.
We do see Arrow Hunter trying to go for the Nocturne kill here. He almost gets it. We do see Emilio ult coming through.
Emilio kicks him away. I don't think Aaron is going to be able to actually run down those two champs. And it doesn't look like there's any real camps to steal away here. Maybe except for Krugs here. So I guess Aaron is just going to sell for some Krugs and probably this this bot tier 1. Meanwhile, Cassio is forced to just kind of sit in top lane and answer those super minions. But I don't think that's the makes her that unhappy, right? Cassio's like, I'm fine to just collect a cannon wave every wave. Like, not that big a deal to me. But I'm curious to see what UWF is going to do kind of in the meanwhile while they're waiting for these objectives to come up. It looks like they're going to settle for trying to take this this bot tier 1 here. I believe it looked like maybe some people on Nebraska were going to rotate down here, but nobody has shown up so far.
Yeah, we do have 3 of the enemy of Nebraska just missing here.
Yeah, we only see Cassio on the map, so curious to see where the other laners are here.
Orin
ult coming out kind of makes me think that
Nocturne does come in.
Nocturne ult flashed a little too early, so the Nocturne ult continued to track him. He's gonna fall here. It looks like Camille is gonna probably go down as well.
Camille kills Nocturne.
Looking for this Orin kill too. She's gonna have empowered Q, but no.
Unfortunately, the Orin gets the W off, killing.
However, 3 people from UWF are gonna be running down. Is Ravenhood gonna just Q into this bush here? No. Did he recall behind? He might have recalled in the cove here.
It looks like no one checks that they.
Yeah, they
Orin
figure
does
he
get
might
out.
have also gotten out. It is only 8 seconds, so it's hard to say, you know, if he just got the recall off. We'll never know because we're not spectating.
Yeah. Well, UWF does have a lot of wave control down in the bot lane now.
I mean, they just have a lot of map control, right? I mean, once again, just look at the turret differential this game.
Yeah.
And again, that just comes from their early prio of those top lane objectives that are just so good at busting turrets, right? And so moving into this like mid game, right, when Baron's spawning.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, this is gonna
Emilio
be
getting caught out, rotating through the jungle. Emilio does die for it.
Is it gonna be a dead Aaron? That's the question. Or is he gonna kill other people?
Arrow Hunter is caught out in a bit of a bad spot. He does get out though due to the enhanced blast cone there.
Yep, he gets E'd by Karma, and then just Karma slows the Ornn, and then Chemtech blast cone, just you're gone. And so yeah, it looks like again, just Aaron is just gonna abuse them in the jungle, just kind of take all these resources because once again, there aren't any turrets to protect you anymore, right? Like you can get reinforced by your allies from any lane. you just don't necessarily have perfect vision anymore. Like there's a million things that are making this game hard for Nebraska, but
It does look like UWRF is setting up a Baron play here.
Yep, and with Ornn in the bot lane, I don't see why not, right? You don't have to worry about Ornn ult catching you out in the Baron pit, and then all of a sudden everything going really downhill for you. But yeah, it looks like they're just gonna burn this Baron really quick. Bel'Veth just does it incredibly fast, and so.
And that's another enhanced Bel'Veth ult for
Yep.
Arrow Hunter there.
Yep, I am curious to see if what they're gonna do with this Baron here.
It does look like they're going for an ARAM down the mid lane.
Yeah, Camille is still split on the bot here, contesting the Ornn, so I'm assuming she's gonna just stay there and hopefully bring what's probably the second strongest member on Nebraska at the moment. Aaron Hunter going for a dive here, doesn't get stoned up by the Cassio, has to force the flash to get out here, getting run down by the Xayah right now. R's in to try and get this kill. Flashes. She does get this kill. It's gonna be probably a double kill coming out from here. Karma not able to escape the Nocturne, and that's actually gonna be a triple kill for gosh, why did I forget their name?
For Xayah?
No, the school.
Oh, it's Nebraska.
Nebraska. I was like, it starts with N, and my brain was just like, nope.
We do see Ornn go down here, but a lot of UWRF's players have lost their Baron buff.
Yeah, and is Camille going to be able to escape here? It looks like they are. They actually came around, and they didn't send one person to just match this with Camille, so Camille's just getting out scot-free. Actually greeting a jungle camp here.
Dragon is up. It does look like UWRF does want to try to contest this a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give them sole point, especially when you're this ahead, but I don't think they're going to be able to contest just given off of how the recalls worked, right? They can definitely rush this and get it before UWRF is able to be here, and I don't think this TP is actually going to result in it working that way. Yep.
Close.
But they might be able to get this some kills here, and that
Cassiopeia does go down to Camille.
Looks like Cassio, is going to go down. I don't know if anyone... Yeah, the Baron buff is still on a few members here, but it's going to be running out pretty shortly, I assume. But yeah, that top inhib turret, I don't think it was correct to take it as early as they did. I think you just kind of leave it because you don't want to give them a bunch of cannon minions that early in the game.
Yeah, but they do get the mid inhib turret.
Yep, they get the mid turret. It looks like Camille is gonna have to run here though, because it's just them two in the middle. But meanwhile, they're gonna be taking bot inhib turret as well.
Emilio is taking a lot of damage from those karma keys.
And once again, yeah, this is just the power of the Void Grubs, right? Like we're just watching UWRF just kind of steamroll all of these just turret objectives.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're gonna probably go for a triple inhib here. Maybe not. Or I guess Camille's just going to get the wave, but UWRF just more than happy to probably just walk in here. I don't know. It looks like they're not calling for the triple inhib fight. They maybe don't want to take a 5v5 right now.
Interesting choice to not just take that inhib while everyone was still there, but
they're just going to be content with taking the jungle again and getting Arrow Hunter even further ahead on the Bel'Veth. They just probably want to end this game before there's the possibility of Chemtech Soul happening. Not that Chemtech Soul is necessarily a game changer this game, but it still is. It is still Dragon Soul. It still makes your game harder. It still opens you to the fact of flipping Elder Drake and losing the game. But I don't think there's enough turret taking power on Nebraska's team right now to actually end the game off of a fight at the moment. So we'll have to see what the strategy is going to be for the rest of this game here.
We do see a bit of a
skirmish.
Yeah, skirmishing
in the
down
bottom jungle.
Yeah, down in the bottom jungle. Nocturnal does go off, cutting off our vision of the fights.
Camille does get shut down by Cassio here, so maybe just an overextension by Camille. Hard to say. It looks like she got caught out in the mid lane there. So maybe by themselves, not really respecting the Nocturne ult, and just goes down. Thankfully for them, no objectives are up at the moment, but Baron will be up in 1 minute and 40 seconds, and Dragon will be up in about 2 minutes here. So until then, I think UWRF should probably just focus on maybe just getting this bot inhib if they can. That would make their objectives just really hard for Nebraska to actually contest because just too many super minions. You can't leave them uncontested in your base. You need to send almost like one of your carries to go clear those waves because you need damage to clear 2 super minions off of every wave, right? When you get triple inhib, you get 2 super minions per wave, which I don't know if you've ever tried to kill a super minion, but that is not fun.
Yeah, they are annoying to kill if you're not like AP damage focused.
Yeah, for sure. But it seems like UWRF isn't really prioing this bot lane or the top lane inhib here. More than content to just kind of just push waves and I guess wait for the next objective to spawn before forcing a fight and see what happens.
It does seem like Karma's pushing out that bot lane.
Yep, here's the
top
play
lane,
here's the play for bot inhib here. I'm curious when the other inhibs are going to be coming up. Xayah rooted out here, going to be forced to use her R, but Karma going down, Rakan going down.
Xayah going down to the Bel'Veth though.
However, Bel'Veth gets a reset, is going to get a reset on the Milio as well. And probably just going to opt to just leave this fight. No, going back in, gets a knock up on both. Nocturne one shot, absolutely cannot fake this fight here. But I don't think
not
Cassio
being able to kill anyone here.
Flash is in, knocks up again, gets the Cassio, but probably going to die to turret here.
Dies the turret, but that's...
They do triple inhib, but I don't know for how long that's going to last.
Yeah.
I know those other 2 got taken relatively early on, so they might be back up. Baron available, but they just don't have Nebraska just doesn't have the team members alive to take it with only the Ornn Nocturne, and they have to stay in base. Probably going to be very similar to Drag, which looks like UWRF is just going to go more than happily take right now, while the Nocturne is going to be stuck in base. Maybe not. I think if you're Nocturne here, you go for the steal.
Yeah.
You don't really have much to lose at this point.
Especially since that Bel'Veth still has a 15-second death timer.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, UWRF can't just like rush this off spawn. They have to wait for Bel'Veth because Nocturne can very, very easily just put a blue ward down and easily contest this. So UWRF probably just going to clear vision, put control wards down, and probably just slow roll this so they can maybe get their Bel'Veth here to smite this away.
They may be taking it a bit too fast.
I think they are. Bel'Veth is almost here, but it's going to be cutting it close. If there's maybe nope.
And there's the Bel'Veth. Okay,
yeah.
That's a Chemtech Drake for UWRF there.
And then they're just going to opt over to just go take the Dragon, or the Baron. Like, again, 2 super minions per wave makes this very, very, very difficult.
It does seem like inhibitors are coming back up, though. Those side lanes are missing their super minions.
Yes, they are. That is a good observation. So, yeah, the inhibs are back up, actually.
Yep, and there they are. A lot of lane pressure gone.
But Camille is pushing
now.
bot here, but their Baron is so fast. I don't think Nebraska can actually even be here. Look at the vision in the topside jungle for UWRF. There's no way Nocturne is ever sneaking in.
Nocturne trying to kill that Camille in the bot lane there.
Yep, and so just like clockwork, UWRF secures yet another objective, and is probably going to look to get those inhibs gone with this Baron, right? Looks like Aaron Hunter is going to potentially look for a recall. All UWRF has to do is just not get caught out before they can make these plays here.
Yeah.
I'd say this Karma is a bit overextended. Like, if Ornn presses R here, he could easily get a pick on you.
Yuri does still have Flash. He could be conserving it for that.
Yeah, but you don't know. It could be Nocturne ult as well.
Yeah.
It's really hard to just say, like, one Flash would be enough. Here comes Nocturne ult. I assume it's going to be in the mid lane.
Nocturne is taken out by the Varus.
Karma rotating over, likely to the mid fight here that's going on. And it looks like Arrow Hunter is going to go down, however. Ornn still low. Ornn flashes away.
Not Xayah. That's Cassiopeia caught in the...
Cassiopeia goes down, and I think that is going to be the game.
Yeah, that seems like a good way to end the game for UWRF. It seems like Nebraska does agree as well.
Yep.
And that's...
Once again,
yep.
UWRF just kind of dominates. Didn't even dominate the early game. Just dominated early objectives.
Yeah, it was very much an objective difference.
Yeah, they're just so much more active on the map. I think the draft from Nebraska was far better this game than last game. However, they drafted better, but they didn't actually adapt to the strategy that UWRF was employing on the Rift, right? They didn't show up to contest Void Grubs ever. They didn't really contest the early, like, they didn't trade Dragon early, right? Like, imagine they trade one more Dragon early and they get sold this game. Maybe it's enough to make a difference, right? They were starting to turn some team fights, right?
Yeah.
The scaling was starting to come online for them, but too little too late, and UWRF is able to just end the game with the tower pushing power they have from the early Void Grubs, the Baron they just secured because of all the towers they had taken and the inhibitors they got. So it's just UWRF just playing a really, really good map control game where they just gradually choked them out and left them with no good options.
But coming up this Wednesday, we are going to the divisional championship for League of Legends. That was semifinals for divisional championships. We are going against Southwest Minnesota State. Yeah, Southwest Minnesota State next on Wednesday, this Wednesday. So be sure to tune in, as well as I believe
What he's saying right now is UWRF did beat them 2-1 in the regular season.
Ooh.
So if that's an indicator, UWRF, assuming that Southwest State hasn't just hit the gym in the meanwhile, we might be maybe favored for that game. So tune in Wednesday to see that, and we'll see you then.
As well as tomorrow, we're also having
are we having
another League of Legends stream for a different a different league, but not as intense as
not a championship
Wednesday,
game.
But still a fun stream to tune into tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
These first 3 days of the week are going to be all League of Legends. Well, that's all for tonight, folks.
Signing off.
Thank you for tuning in, and see you tomorrow.